Hello, it says I'm live. Welcome to what I'm going to call just some information. It's kind of weird information, but let's talk about Osiris Rex. Okay, Osiris Rex, let me do this. I should have done this a minute ago. Should see my desktop. Let me make sure. Okay, cool. Let's go to this. Wikipedia. Yes, Osiris, NASA has their acronym problem, not a single accomplishment. But their acronym is Osiris Rex, and its origins: Spectral Interpretation Resource Identification Security Regolith Explorer. It says is a NASA asteroid study and sample return mission. The mission's primary goal is to obtain a sample of at least blah 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 from this asteroid, Bennu. And I want you guys to think about this because I know a lot of people that hear my voice will be saying, well, that's all just fake. They're just faking that all. And that's fine. You can think that, but I think that's a naive, or maybe that's not the right word. It's an ignorant, willingly ignorant way to think, especially if you are a believer in the Word of God. And kind of what I'm referring to is in Ephesians 6, Paul wrote that our struggle, like our battle, is not against flesh and blood. And I must point out that everyone's saying that people at NASA, or that, this idea that they're faking space, or I'm not against that idea, because they might as well be. But the problem is that they believe in it. All these things, they believe in these things. Now, it's been revealed clearly in the scriptures to me and anyone that pays attention to what it says, that there's a place that's being revealed. There's many places that are being revealed in the sky. One of them would be, the best one would be the kingdom of God, New Jerusalem, the city of truth, the holy city, God's temple. I was listening to a live stream and they were talking about the temple of God, and they're saying, where is it? Where is the temple of God? And we're talking about the temple of God in heaven. But people seem to stick to the idea that that temple of God is in them, and not in heaven. Now, I would argue that it's both. And it's not in you. God's temple in heaven is not in you. Okay, God's spirit can be in you, and in that aspect, your body could be a temple. But that's not what happens in Revelation and all the Bible. God clearly claims the heaven to be his throne and his temple. The heavens, the sky, okay? Now, there are things up in the sky. We don't know if they're physical. We don't know what they are, but we see them as basically as lights. So I think that NASA makes a lot of assumption here. Sending things up to the sky and expecting all the data and everything that comes back to be exactly what they expect, and it should be. But the idea of it being fake is ignorant. Okay. But our battle that Paul was talking about, he was saying that it's not a battle against men. And what he said it was a battle against evil spirits that dwell in heaven. powers and principalities and the rulers of the darkness of this world. Where's the darkness? Well, in the beginning, we all know that he said, let there be light. And then he divided the light from the darkness. There's two different things. And he called the light day. So, like, think about it, daytime. What are you doing today? Okay. And then he called the darkness night. So when the sun isn't around, it's night. It's darkness. And there's a sea of dark waters above the earth, because he divided the light from the darkness, and he also separated the waters from above and the waters below, beneath, whatever word is used. But there's a sea of glass mentioned in Revelation at the foot of God's throne. That's interesting. And Psalm says he made darkness his secret place. What did it say? His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. So there's a place of darkness, and I would probably myself say that that's the firmament, because that's where the sun, moon, and stars are. And he set them in the firmament. Okay, so. But this place of darkness is not, it's an abyss, first of all. We might look at the word fell, maybe. When something's falling, it's a different state than something sitting still or something with a foundation underneath it. Something with a foundation doesn't fall. You know what I'm saying? The foundation is solid, it's firm, it's in one place, it's not moving. And the earth that happens to have a foundation happens to have pillars. But, yeah. Okay, so this Osiris Rex mission, let's watch a video, or part of a video, and I'll come back.
Status check. Go Atlas.
Go Centaur.
Go Osiris Rex.
Everyone is go. Standing by for launch. After liftoff, you'll hear the voice of United Launch Alliance's Marty Malinowski providing launch vehicle ascent data. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And liftoff of Osiris Rex. Its 7-year mission to boldly go to the asteroid Bennu and back.
Firing look good. Starting pump speeds and injector pressures are within family. Repeat chamber pressures have plateaued, begun to ramp off.
Heard the voice of Marty Malinowski. The Atlas has begun a pitch and yaw maneuver to steer to its planned path.
Okay, so we've all seen launches. That's good enough on that. But did you hear what he said? That this was 7 years ago. And he said that this rocket was sending this spacecraft, Osiris Rex. Remember the Origin, Spectral Interpretation, Resource Identification, Security, Regolith Explorer? Remember? That they were sending that spacecraft to the asteroid Bennu, right? Here, this, let me go back to me. How do I get me? There we go. 101955 Bennu. Okay. Is a, oh boy, carbonaceous asteroid. This is Wikipedia. This is supposed to be like factual information, I think, for the most part. Trustworthy information. And it's just only assumption. But listen, this is interesting. It's a carbonaceous asteroid in the Apollo group. Let's take a pause, because that word Apollo, what's that all about? The Apollo asteroids are a group of near-Earth asteroids named after 1862 Apollo, discovered by German astronomer Carl. So some guy looked through a tube with a piece of glass in it and a mirror, and he said, asteroids. Dang asteroids. Okay, so the Apollo group discovered by the Linear Project on 11 September 1999. It is a potentially hazardous object. Uh-oh. Let's talk about potentially hazardous. Okay, this mission, this one, Osiris Rex, is the first time that NASA is trying to, that's right, Thomas, a piece of charcoal. This is the first time that NASA or anybody has ever tried to bring a piece of charcoal to the Earth. An asteroid to the Earth, any part of an asteroid. Why did I name this video Asteroid Bennu coming to Earth? Because tomorrow, there's supposedly a capsule or whatever, it's part of a spacecraft, coming back. So Osiris Rex is it's approaching the Earth right now, and it's going to drop off a package tomorrow. And NASA is going to, we're going to watch some videos, but NASA is going to collect this sample from the Utah desert tomorrow. It's actually like, sounds ridiculous. It sounds stupid if you ask me. It sounds so dumb. But there's implications, like there's things happening here that are horrible things. And people don't understand it, and it's because they assume that the solar system, this place of darkness where there's 7 wandering stars orbiting around the sun, this world, or this solar system that we were all taught we lived in, which is ridiculous because it's in the sky. The ground and the earth is not part of the sky. That's so ridiculous at this point. And then you have, and I'm not against these people at all. I'm with these people. The people that are saying it's fake or it's being faked. There's just something that they're not understanding that changes a lot of, it changes a lot of things, like the seriousness of things. Okay, so let's just break it into two different kind of ways of thinking. Osiris Rex, okay. Let's go with NASA is a joke. They're liars. And they sent up a fake rocket and it didn't have anything on it. But they make all this hype and all these videos and all these fake videos like the one I was showing at the beginning of this camera showing this spacecraft going and getting a sample from it or whatever. Let's just say that it's all fake. They're just making all that CGI stuff, and they get plenty of money to do it. So who cares about their sample? They're going to pretend they have a sample. Big deal. Okay? There's the one way of thinking, and I'm not against that. I'm just trying to I'm trying to expand that way of thinking for anyone that's thinking that way. That's all. Okay, so let's go with another way of thinking, and this is what the way of thinking I'm having. That place of darkness, if you listen to NASA or you listen to anybody that has ever tried to go there or whatever, any government or SpaceX or anybody, what is a fact about, this would be a fact to them. What would be a fact about anything in the solar system? Anything in the solar system is, by physics, by celestial physics, whatever they call it, is in a state of free fall. In the same way that the space station, now keep in mind, we're thinking that on the lines that this is all legit, like science class would teach you, okay? So why does the space station have to go that fast, and why are they floating on the space station? Because they're falling perpetually towards the ground. but they're going fast enough sideways that they never reach the part where they're falling to. They just orbit around the spherical Earth. Okay? That's so the idea of the whole solar system is that the Earth, the sphere Earth, is also in a state of free fall. It has its own gravity, so that's why we can stay on Earth, you know what I'm saying, on the surface. We're just standing here and gravity's is holding us down, right? Okay. But the Earth itself is is falling perpetually around the sun. Okay. And so are all these 7 planets. So if we can just think about this from their point of view, they call it a bottomless pit. Even the astronauts call it that. They call it an abyss in a sea of darkness. They say it's so dark. In fact, let me see if I have, I doubt I can find it, but I have an astronaut saying something. Oh yeah, I bet you I do have it. I'll probably get in trouble for playing it. Let me see. Oh wait, it wouldn't be in that file. Hold on. This will be worth it. You guys got to see this. It'd be in pictures. Okay, yeah. Ooh, I can't play the whole thing. Let's just play a little bit and see. I don't know if it'll play this even. We'll find out right now.
Or one time in the middle of the night pass, and it was like just black as black. And
okay, I just have to pause it here because I can only let it play for a few seconds probably before I get in trouble. I don't know why this video they shut down my stream or like paused it or whatever when I was playing this video. Anyway, listen to what he says. It's like black on black.
And going out the door, really, and all you could see was what the helmet lights were illuminating with structure around you, and beyond that was black. You couldn't see stars because of the reflection of the helmet lights off the structure.
Okay, so did you hear what he said there? Black, 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 and his helmet lights lit up part of the space station. But beyond that, it was all darkness, and he couldn't see stars because the illuminated part of the space station was too bright or something. Half of them say they can see stars, half of them say they can't, and whatever. They send us videos from the space station or time lapses where you see tons of stars. Anyway, here, listen to what he says right here, though.
And it was like an abyss.
Okay, so there's an astronaut telling you that it was like an abyss.
Like an abyss.
Yeah. So if you have a fear of things like that,
if you have a fear of things like that, man, this guy and you know what? This guy is a Christian. He claims to be a Christian. That's why he's on this show right now. But anyway, I think he's just a devil myself. I think he's like a demon or something. An unclean spirit. That's what in Revelation 16 it mentions, these unclean spirits coming out of the mouth of the dragon. Yeah, that's what they ride up to the space station, is a dragon. So it's all in the Bible. It's like this whole world is in there like this. But an abyss.
you're probably in the wrong business.
I want to read one script.
Okay, we'll get rid of that video. Get it off the screen. That's just one example of an astronaut calling it an abyss of darkness. Okay, and physics itself, the way that they're on the space station, anything in the solar system is in that state. It's falling. So it is an abyss as far as what they believe. Okay, so they sent Osiris Rex up to the sky into that abyss, and it was falling for 7 years, and it found its way around to this asteroid that's also in a state of free fall, and it landed on it, or not landed on it, but it went down and hovered above it and shot a shovel down or whatever and grabbed a sample, and then it packaged up the sample, and now it's coming to the Earth tomorrow. So let's have it reminded me of what's all the things that have happened. Oh wait, I didn't finish the second way of thinking. I did, but I didn't. Okay, so what do these people that believe in all this stuff? What are they selling themselves short doing? What are they being willingly ignorant of? I would say they're being attracted into darkness, like literally. And there is light that I would call it truth, and then there's darkness. And I'm going to say that truth came into the world on this specific subject, space and the globe and the solar system and everything. Truth came into the world, I don't know, probably 7 years ago. That's weird, but I'm just estimating. Maybe more. But the globe, what is the globe doing? It's falling into an abyss, you guys. Ask NASA. Ask anyone who believes in this garbage. So this abyss, though, is real. That's the thing. In the Bible, this abyss is real. It's filled with evil spirits and fallen angels. And like in the book of Enoch, it says that these 7 stars are in this place that has no foundation. It has no firmament above it. It's like, I was talking to Sean Griffin, and he described it by saying, what was the word he used? I liked it. The extremity, he said. Like, not connected or whatever. Extremity was the word that he used. Okay, so it's not part of this creation as described in Genesis, but it actually is part of the creation that's in Genesis. But I think it changed. I think the evil spirits weren't in that place of darkness. It was just the sun, moon, and stars and everything. But then, this is a long story, but Enoch saw something that was going to happen 70 generations from the time when he saw it. And he saw that those evil spirits were going to be taken and brought to the abyss of fire they were buried in the earth, like in the ground. Okay. But after those 70 generations, which interestingly happens to be when Jesus was born, he was 70 generations like after Enoch. So when Jesus, this is like, I've gathered this like idea probably in the last couple years or a year, maybe even. But Jesus was crucified, and then he descended into hell, into the earth, into the heart of the earth. But like Enoch, what is that, chapter 10, it basically prophesies that at that time, just so happens that at the time Jesus was alive, that those angels were going to be taken from the earth and brought into this abyss. And so I would say that at that time, there was a resurrection. So let's say like Abraham or Joseph or Adam or Eve or anybody that would be going, that he was going to save, was taken up out of the earth, out of hell, and because this is what was seen by the people that were alive at his crucifixion. What was the one guy's name? The centurion, I think. And those who were there saw that like there was an earthquake, and it was dark for 3 hours during the day. There, the rocks were rent and the veil was torn. All these things that these people all witnessed it, and they said, surely this was the Son of God. They saw nature doing things like having earthquakes and things like that. Or maybe an eclipse or something. I don't know. But, yeah. Let me get something better on the screen here than Osiris Rex. Okay, so let me just read a couple of things. Now, I don't think that this necessarily is the first 4 trumpets, but it sounds like some of these things a little bit. So they prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of the trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up. So the first angel sounded his trumpet. I don't think that's happened yet, because we wouldn't have any grass, right? So I'm not necessarily saying that I think it's these things, but look at these things that do happen, and just keep in mind that tomorrow, this part of an asteroid is being delivered to the Utah desert. Okay, so and if you think that this is all fake, if you're one of the people that saying NASA's just faking all this, just humor me, please, because I understand your point of view, and I have pretty much the same point of view, but the imposters, the people that you are calling liars, aren't liars. They're actually believing a lie because they're deceived, and we would hope that they would come to the truth. And the conspiracy is a fallen angel conspiracy, along with unclean spirits and disembodied spirits. They work together. So there's a battle, like, Thomas, I was thinking about that. Let me highlight that comment. Thomas Morgan says, when the horns are on the clouds, then shall the trumpets be being blown. This was said by one of the archangels, Thomas? And I think it was one of the archangels, but it was in the second book of Revelation, I think. But it said when the horns are on the clouds, that's the trumpets being blown. And me and Thomas and others would argue that these little horns that, like in Daniel, let me show you, this is why it's ignored, but this is why it's important. So I don't care if it's ignored. I'm going to keep telling you and showing you. Like, I'm going to go to the verses and I'm going to show you, because I didn't write this stuff. I didn't make Daniel see a vision. I didn't make him describe what he described. So in Daniel 8. Okay, he sees in a vision, and it came to pass when I was at Shushan. Okay, so he starts telling about the vision. He sees this ram, right? And then he also sees something, this sounds like low Earth orbit, guys. And as I was considering, behold, a he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth. That's low Earth orbit, guys. Wake up. He saw it coming on the face of the whole earth and touched not the ground. It was definitely flying over the whole earth. So you can, this is what I'm saying, humor me. Because just looking at this as fake is I think it's the right way to look at this space stuff. I'm not saying it's real. What I'm saying is, how about this? All of the bad things that could be possible about it are real. And all the people at NASA aren't lying about it. They're falling into this darkness. They're falling into a trap. If you're on a globe, I personally believe you're falling into a trap. You're falling into an abyss of darkness right now. If you think that you're orbiting the sun, that's what you're doing. You're falling into this abyss. And then comes along flat earth. And all of a sudden you realize that all of that is wrong and evil. And that there's truth. And that the truth is the light of the world. And there's no way that anybody would understand any of this in our generation if it weren't for him. How else would we understand any of this? I'm saying about truth. How do we know what would cause all these people out of the blue from every country and every place to start telling people something that anybody would consider to be crazy? But it's not crazy, it's truth. That's why they can say it. There wouldn't be a flat earth, globe earth debate if there wasn't something going on. Where was that debate, 20 years ago? It wasn't here. So, look at though. I get sidetracked and I lose my the point I'm trying to make. So this he-goat and this ram that he saw, I'm not trying to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read one verse and show you where it goes, what it does. Okay. And this was a little horn. Let's see, where did it say that? Or this is a little he-goat, but the ram, which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. Okay, so the ram had these horns. And so it's like the he-goat goes to the ram and like rams him, and they're like fighting, and guess where they go? Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken. That sounds like a stage separation to me. I'm just describing what I see when I read this. I told you about low Earth orbit. It's right here in verse 5. If you can deny that, that's up to you. If you think I'm making something up or interpreting this something into this, you're not reading the words. Okay, if a he-goat, I don't know why it would be a he-goat. Maybe because Daniel couldn't say rocket. He didn't know what a rocket was or a spacecraft, okay? But it came from the west on the face of the whole earth and touched not the ground. Can you tell me of something that goes on the face of the entire earth, the whole earth, and doesn't touch the ground? There doesn't exist something up until low Earth orbit was figured out, or whatever you want to call it. So that's low Earth orbit right there. And so what I'm saying here is that Daniel was describing something that's very important to us. And if you're missing it, I can't make you see it, but I can only try to make you understand it the way I do, or just to see something here. So it waxed very great. When he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven. So they weren't going toward the ground, you guys. They were going towards the sky. And out of one of them came forth a little horn. So this is a horn, you guys, a little horn, which waxed exceeding great toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land. Where's the pleasant land? I think that would be talking about paradise or New Jerusalem, the pleasant land. That's what I think it's talking about. So they were going toward that. And it says here, and it waxed great even to the host of heaven. What's the host of heaven? So what I'm trying to point out is that this is up in the sky. And it says, and it cast down some of the hosts and of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them. So where did it wax exceeding great to? Even to the host of heaven. So if you can think of any other thing that goes up to what Daniel called the host of heaven and cast the stars to the ground, I don't know what it would be if it wasn't a spacecraft. And remember that this vision was told to Daniel that it would come, that it would happen. And the vision right here, and the vision of the evening and morning which was told is true. Shut up the vision, for it shall be for many days. So this was far off. And actually it says somewhere else in here too. Oh yeah, in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full... Oh, that's not the part I was looking for. Yeah, he saw Gabriel in this. Make this man to understand the vision. Oh, here it is. So, and he said, behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation. For at the time appointed, the end shall be. So, he's describing something that people would be doing, or something that would be seen, because he was shown it. He was describing what would be seen at the... Okay, so we're going to go back to Revelation. I just want to read a little bit more. So, and the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea. I got to show you guys something. in the book of Enoch. Now, I just get these ideas from reading this stuff. I don't know. But the angel, let's see here. The angel that is showing this stuff to Enoch, I believe it's Uriel. I'm going to just make sure. But I think Uriel is the same angel that took John into that wilderness in the spirit. I think it's also Uriel. That's just my idea. But the reason why is I think that Uriel has like a way of speaking, and and John, I think, and Enoch picked up something from the way that Uriel was speaking. This is just my idea. Because, where is it? Verse 11. So he's talking about this abyss. I saw a deep abyss with columns of heavenly fire, and among them I saw columns of fire fall, which were beyond measure, alike toward the height and towards the depth. Now, just think about that once. What are columns of heavenly fire? You could almost say like when we see a meteor or something, and it kind of burns up. I've seen it with my own eyes many times. Not many times. Probably 4 times. Or when you see a shooting star. I think most of us have seen a shooting star. With columns of heavenly fire, and among them I saw columns of fire fall, which were beyond measure, alike toward the height and towards the depth. And beyond that abyss. So remember what I was saying about what Sean Griffin said? The extremity. This was like separate, or it was outside. Like Jesus called it outer darkness. Beyond that abyss I saw a place which had no firmament of the heaven above, and no firmly founded earth beneath it. There was no water upon it, and no birds, but it was a waste and horrible place. I saw there 7 stars, like great burning mountains. As it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea. Is this a planet? Is John describing a planet? Because that's what Enoch was describing. Okay, yeah. And to me, I saw there 7 stars like great burning mountains, and to me when I inquired regarding them, the angel said, this place is the end of heaven and earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven. How can someone say there's not a prison up there? I think if you said there wasn't a prison, or that there isn't a prison for evil spirits in that darkness, I don't think you're reading these things. Look at, and the stars which roll over the fire. That sounds exactly like the solar system. These 7 stars orbiting the sun. Think about it. Are they which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord? So they're evil, you guys. The planets they're not places, they're spirits. And they're taking those forms to fool us. So when they send Osiris Rex to the asteroid, of course it's going to get a sample. Yeah. One problem with human beings is we think that we're like the highest power in the known universe or something. I mean, people do think that there's aliens sometimes. They believe in aliens. But let me just show you one other thing here. So this is why I think that John was listening in on, or that they were picking up on what Uriel was putting down. And I proceeded to where things were chaotic. This is Book of Enoch, chapter 21. And I saw there something horrible. I neither saw heaven above, nor a firmly founded earth, but a place chaotic and horrible. I saw there 7 stars of the heaven bound together in it, like great mountains and burning with fire. Look at that wording right there. So that's the second time Enoch compares these 7 stars to great mountains burning with fire. And look what it says. John says, and the second angel sounded, and as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and a third part of the sea became blood. And a third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and a third part of the ships were destroyed. So I'm not saying that's happening in the Utah desert, but NASA's dumb. That's what I'm saying. They're dumb for doing what they're doing. Thomas Morgan says, did you hear Sean ask one of the guys, does Jesus return before his second coming? Yeah, I did. But I don't think Sean maybe understood it the way you and I do, but because if you ask me, I would say that he does and did already. Like he doesn't return like where everyone can see him, but he comes and utters his voice for those who want to hear him. And that's his grace. That's the grace of God. Because we're all in the wrong place at the wrong time, doing the wrong thing, and nobody knew the right thing. Nobody knew the truth. We all believed in this ever-falling, perpetual, abyss-headed globe. Enoch saw that too, didn't he? Where was that? Was that in Enoch 93? Let's look. Enoch is filled with awesome stuff. Enoch said, let's see. No, that's not the right one. It must be the next one, 94. Thomas, do you remember what chapter it was where Enoch saw the earth being destroyed when he was young? I can't remember which chapter that is. Maybe it's 90. I think it was 9. I thought it was one of these. Thomas will tell me. He knows what's up. He had a vision. That's what it was. It was a vision. Let's try 92. Look at, and sin shall perish in darkness forever, and shall no more be seen from that day forevermore. Yeah, you don't want to be in an abyss of darkness. Why would you want to go to space? That's crazy. Okay, so until Thomas Morgan lets me know the chapter, I have a video, okay? So this is just interesting because what Osiris Rex is bringing a sample to the Earth. So something from space that we know nothing about is they're going to actually bring it here. What could be? Oh, 83. Thank you, bro. I knew you'd know because I did want to read that. It's he sees it falling into an abyss like he sees the globe, I swear. And now my son Methuselah, I will show thee all my visions which I have seen, recounting them before thee. 2 visions I saw before I took a wife, and the one was quite unlike the other. The first when I was learning to write, the second before I took thy mother, when I saw a terrible vision, and regarding them I prayed to the Lord. I had laid me down in the house of my grandfather Methuselah, when I saw in a vision how the heaven collapsed and was borne off and fell to the earth. And when it fell to the earth, I saw how the earth was swallowed up in a great abyss, and mountains were suspended on mountains, and hills sank down on hills, and high trees were rent from their stems and hurled down and sunk into the abyss. And thereupon a word fell into my mouth, and I lifted up my voice and cried aloud and said, the earth is destroyed. And listen to what his grandfather tells him. Oh, you saw a vision? Well, here's what it is. Watch this. And my grandfather, Methuselah, waked me as I lay near him, and said unto me, why dost thou cry so, my son, and why dost thou make such lamentation? And I recounted to him the whole vision which I had seen. And he said unto me, a terrible thing thou hast seen, my son, and of grave moment is thy dream vision as to the secrets of all the sin of the earth. It must sink into the abyss and be destroyed with great destruction. And now, my son, arise and make petition to the Lord of glory, since thou art a believer, and that a remnant may remain on the earth, and that he may not destroy the whole earth. My son, from heaven all this will come upon the earth, and upon the earth there will be great destruction. After that I rose and prayed and implored and besought and wrote down my prayer for the generations of the world, and I will show everything to thee, my son. Okay, so too many prophets saw this stuff happening, guys. Wow. Anyway, So let me remind you of what, like, I better not get in trouble for talking about this. Where does a virus come from? Any virus. Like, where does a virus come from? Imagine what could come from an asteroid.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Michelle Fowler from NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, COVID-19. And thank you for joining us. As you can see, I'm struggling with my mask here a little bit. COVID-19. As you can see, I'm struggling with my mask here a little bit. And if everything has gone right tonight, a little bit of Bennu will be coming back to Earth in 2023. So let's get one last visit with our social media desk. James, what's going on? This is one of these evenings where it's such a privilege and a pleasure to be working for NASA and for the idea of scientific exploration. So I'm Dr. Michelle Fowler. As you can see, I'm struggling with my mask here a little bit. We still have to deal with the challenges of COVID-19. So please bear with us today as we are working with our masks and trying to do this the best way we can. As you can see, I'm struggling with my mask here a little bit. COVID-19. For NASA, COVID-19. Bennu, COVID-19. COVID-19. For NASA, COVID-19. Bennu, COVID-19. Bennu, COVID-19. COVID-19. Bennu, COVID-19. Good night.
So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I don't know, but the possibilities coming from like I explained to you, or tried to explain to you, coming from a place where I know that they're messing with something that they have no idea about, and Thomas Morgan, look at all the disease since 1950. Just think about that. Where does disease come from? Low Earth orbit? Evil spirits that find their way out of their prison into the earth. That's what happens in the Bible, you know, at the end. Revelation 12. What does Satan do? His place is no longer in heaven. He's cast out into the earth. Sounds like space exploration to me. So that's about all I gotta say. I'll play one more video just to bring us back a few years to remember what in the world kind of world, like Austin Whitsitt says, in a world.
I just want to say, I heard about this drug. I said, let me take it. It was my suggestion. I said, let me take it. And it was incredible. Drugs, but the FDA is approving things in a matter of weeks. It used to take a matter of years. I heard about this drug, and it was like unbelievable. Drugs, and within a very short period of time, they gave me drugs and other things too, but I think this was the key. We have a very similar drug, and we're trying to get them. I think we're going to work it so that you get them and you're going to get them free. We have hundreds of thousands of drugs that are just about ready. Drugs that nobody even thought of. Drugs that help a lot, but these, I view these, I know they call them drugs. So I want to get these drugs, so we have to get them. We have to get them. Much more important to me than the vaccine. The FDA has acted as quickly as they've ever acted in history. Drugs, no president's ever pushed them like I pushed them either, to be honest with you. So we have these drugs because I feel great. I feel like perfect. I heard about this drug, so I think this was a blessing from God, like a number of other drugs, but it really did a fantastic job. I want to get for you drugs, and I'm going to make it free. You're not going to pay for it. This was China's fault, and just remember that. So we're going to get you the drug. It's going to be free as soon as we can, and you'll see some amazing things happen. And a blessing in disguise. Drugs, 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 drugs. So I just want to say, I heard about this drug. I heard about this drug. I heard about this drug because I feel great. Unbelievable. Drugs, and we're trying to get them. Drugs, and we're trying to get them. Drugs, and we're trying to get them. Drugs that nobody even thought of. Drugs.
I didn't feel anything. Is this real life?
Drugs.
Okay, now I...
Drugs that nobody even thought of.
Remember that? When the president got the virus? Like, that's the world we're in. It's crazy. But there is darkness, and there is light, and there is truth, and there is deception. And I would say to reconsider the truth if you thought it was stupid at first, even if you think it's stupid now. Oh, Tony's here. He can't hear me though. So let's see if I can help him out. I don't know. I'm not sure if I have this. Well, I'll tell you what, I could get it, but let's just see if I have it first. Sorry, it'll take me a second. Oh, videos, or is that a different file? I don't know what I'm doing. Tony, I have to download it if I'm going to play it. But I really want to play it. Downloads. Maybe I have it here. Oh, I got to search for it. That's what I got to search for. Yes. Oh, that's not the right one though. It's good enough. It'll be the right one. Good enough. Here we go, Tony.
From you, you'd probably have a hard time hearing from me right now. Should I have a mask on and that be muffled?
Mr. President,
You're going to have to take that off, please. You're very muffled, so if you would take it off, it would be a lot easier.
Okay.
I can't hear you!
Hello,
Yes.
I can't hear you. I said I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
I can hear you!
I can't hear you.
You're very muffled.
I can't hear you.
I can't hear you! I can't hear you! I can't hear